It was an extremely emotional start to this game for Luka Doncic, feeling the love from this former team and so many of his forever fans. And then he got to work, as he did so often in this building, showing up and showing out. Luka magic moments, a 31-point first half, a second half that brought this crowd to its feet. He finished with 45 points. It started with tears and ended with a standing ovation. The Luka return is in the books. And just moments ago, Luka walking off the court with his dad on the baseline and so many of his fans getting that chance to thank him, to love on him, to remind him just how much this city still appreciates everything that he did for this team.
From the very beginning, I don't know that I've ever seen him that emotional after the tribute video. And it got me choked up, and I don't think there was a dry eye in the house. And for him, you've been in these positions, to be able to come back and to play the way he did after such an emotional, he's even admitted it, even as recently as last night, he's still not really through processing what went through, what he's been going through over the last couple of months. And the fans haven't been through processing, and you can see his lip literally quivering as he's trying to keep it together. And then, but you're right. He's a warrior, and he put it into the competition, and he was able to have that 31-point first half to show everybody, I'm still the guy, and I'm feeling really good.
We'll look at what Luka did for this Laker team tonight, because they are fighting for positioning in the Western Conference playoffs, and you could tell he was going to be the guy from the beginning. He carried the load in that first half, Devin, and then when the non-Luka moments in the second half didn't go so good, he came back out and finished things off.
Yeah, he was phenomenal all night long. You know, familiar with the building here, and obviously just a level of comfort. But like I said, just allowing him just to be able to play one-on-one, dissect the defense the way he saw it, got his 3-point shots back. And, we've seen so many times, if you let him really read the defense and see what's going on, he's going to kill you in more ways than one, and he did that in so many ways tonight.
Yeah, he was a quadruple threat. He was able to get to the rim, do the Dirk fade away, the three-pointer 7 of 10 from deep, and then he was able to get to the line 9 times. So all of that together is what contributed to his 45-point night. But you're right off the top.
Oh, yeah, by the way, he has LeBron James that he can also turn to as a closer, which is exactly what the Lakers did here in the final minutes of this fourth quarter. The 40-year-old helped the 25-year-old out, close down this big game. And you can almost sense sort of the mentor side of him here, helping Luka through the emotions and the difficulties of what was in front of him tonight. And then when it just comes down to finding a way to score, finding a way to defend, whatever it is, LeBron James can get it done.
Yeah, he was very patient tonight. And this may be something that, he may look at going further into the season. Obviously, just being so well rested and not having to do much in those first 3 quarters. Now he's got full energy to attack this defense. And that's exactly what he did, between his athleticism, his be able to use his mind to get to spots, not really hit a ton of jump shots, but the cuts, the timely cuts were just like 1,000 cuts, getting to the lane. And every time they needed a bucket, he was right there. And obviously Austin Rivers, very quiet night tonight, but they didn't really need him because Luka and LeBron pretty much had them covered all night.
Exactly. And I think that is what's so difficult about these moments. This isn't apples to apples right now. The Mavericks continuing to fight through an enormous amount of adversity of various kinds this season. And Jason Kidd before the game even said, for us to deal with that and still be in the play-in is truly something. And that is because you have got guys like Anthony Davis, Gafford, Lively, all working their way back from injury in enough time to try to fight here down the stretch. You've got the Lakers sitting in third in the West. They want to lock in, of course, home court. That's done. Officially, they are in the playoffs is what is clinched.
And remember that 3 through 8 was all battling to stay out of the play, and they're out of it now.
They're out. That's right. They're done. They can take a breath. Let's get reaction now from the Mavericks side as we take you downstairs and listen into Jason Kidd.
When Luka gets it going like that, how difficult it is to slow him down?
Very difficult. He got it going. He made the layups. He made the threes. And so whenever he gets going like that, it's tough. You try to take the others away. But he was really good tonight.
What did you think of the emotions of the night, especially starting off with the tribute video? I'm sure you look down there and see Luka crying, you see or hear the fans. What did you think of just the emotion?
It was incredible. It was the fans were great. The tribute was great. Luka's performance was great. It was great. That's who Luka is. I've said that as when he was with the Mavs. He's one of the best players in the world, and he displayed that again tonight.
Does this kind of performance make you regret the organization's decision to give him up?
No, I have a job to do, and that's to coach the players that are in that locker room. We've gone through the groceries, right? So the guys in that locker room, I got to put them in a better position to win, and I just didn't do that tonight. We're getting healthy. We're getting off a minute restriction. And so we have 2 games left to get things going in the right direction before we play Sacramento. And so that's all we're worried about, understanding all the emotions and all the attention on this game. This game is over. There's nothing we can do. He's not coming back as a Mav. He's with the Lakers. And so we have to move forward, and that's what we've done.
How does the fan base just move forward after this?
You would have to ask them. I mean, that's, I'm not the one cheering or booing. And so I think time and winning. I think that's what it comes down to. And the Mavs are used to winning here of late. And this isn't a dig at anybody, but we've only won one championship as a Maverick. And so understand that that's the next goal is to win number 2 and with the guys in that locker room. And so that's what we have to do. We got to keep working and get ready for the next game.
You guys had to lead there early in the fourth quarter. Then LeBron kind of took over a little bit. What did he do to turn the table in that?
Yeah, he did the same thing in L.A. We thought we were back in the game, and I said we took the lead, and then all of a sudden he appears. And so when you focus so much on Luka, he took advantage of it, and he knows how to do that. And he's played this game for a couple years, and so he understands when to go, and he went at the right time, and there was nothing that we could do.
You've obviously been on both sides of Luka being in that sort of a groove now. How do you kind of decide how much you want to commit to getting the ball out of his hands, versus, risking him going for 28 or 30, I guess 31 and a half?
Yeah, I think there's 2 ways to look at it. We're in the game, and he was going off. Like, we're right there. Actually, Dwayne just brought it up. We took the lead with the great performance. So it's a team game, just understand, we're going to always look at the stars and point them out, but we put ourselves at home against a hot team, and we just couldn't execute offensively, and then we couldn't get stops on the other end, and that's just something that we have to go back and we'll look at as we get healthy and guys start to play more minutes and get used to each other. We're not that far off. With all the injuries and everything that we've been through, we gave a very good team a fight and just came up short.
How did tonight compare to the idea you had maybe coming in atmosphere-wise versus pregame into the first tip? How did that compare to maybe what you thought it would be in your head?
What did I think? I knew it was going to be an emotional night. But when you try to take the emotion out and just focus on the game, and that's what, I thought the group in that locker room did a really good job, of being down at half. We're in the ball game. We take the lead, and we just got to clean up a couple of things on the offense and defensive end. And maybe it's a different story, but it's a great lesson learned for a group that's new, that's going into a play-in situation to be able to go through and understand what it takes to win.
And not much time left to continue to work through the issues here for this team and get going in the right direction. 112-97, the final here. We've got much more on this night and what lies ahead right after this. This was Luka Doncic watching the tribute video right before the announcement, before the game started tonight. And as you can see, he was extremely emotional, looking back at the highlights, at the moments that he had with fans, with people in the community, becoming part of the fabric of the community here in Dallas. And it hit hard, as you can see there, for not only Luka, but so many people in this building here. It unearthed a lot of emotions we've been tamping down now, right? Trying to deal with for a couple of months. And as hard as it was to see him in the Laker jersey and see him help them win a game against the Dallas Mavericks, it also felt great to thank him and remember all of the good times that we had here with Luka as well. It's not easy to reconcile all these emotions and thoughts, Devin. The quarterback here was Naji Marshall, and he gets our key performer of the game, Devin.
Yeah, I think we're going to see this a lot more often. It allows him to play a lot bigger. You put the ball in his hands. He can make plays. Obviously, we know he can get downhill. We've seen him make his first three in 2 weeks. And I feel like going into the play-in, throwing a lineup out there like this, it's difficult to guard, one, but defensively, it's something that you can switch, keep everybody on the perimeter. And I won't be surprised if we see all three bigs on the court at one time. J-Kidd has kind of hinted at that. We haven't yet to see that yet, but obviously in that lineup, Naji is the point guard. So we're starting to see how that transgression is moving forward and what we might see moving forward going on from the team.
Yeah, length is your asset. So lean into it. Use that defensively. Try to get in those passing lanes. Try to stay in front of people so you don't have to double as much. And then offensively, you mentioned he was a steak knife. He was cutting through everything, diving to the basket. That's what he's great at. Penetrating, repenetrating. And look, 2 of 5 from 3. That's been the one piece that he has kind of been up and down with. If he can get that 3 ball to fall consistently, that's absolutely huge.
It was nice to see Max Christie have an important moment in a good moment as the Mavericks actually took a lead in the fourth quarter, a 10-0 run, moment of the game here. And it was Max defensively getting it done and then finding the shooter wide open.
Well, don't forget Max Christie, he was a Laker. This is an emotional game for him as well, for a 22-year-old to kind of play against his old team, knowing what some of the tendencies are that they have, and able to get in that passing lane and then find the vet right there for the three-pointer.
Klay Thompson with just 6 points in this night, 2 of 7 from 3. That one so wide open, sometimes you worry, right, Devin, that those are going to be harder. Don't worry.
I don't worry about Klay. Anytime I see him take a real rhythm dribble, he can, look down at his feet, stop, make sure the ball's in place. Those for him are 90% shots for Klay. So those I don't worry about that. But yeah, he didn't get a lot of good looks tonight, but Max did a great job of getting him an open one there. Something out of the old Spurs playbook and how they used to guard Dirk. Front him 3-quarter with automatic backside help, not letting him literally pass it out easy, look at the basket. Spurs were infamous at doing this to a lot of post players, and it's like a playbook that I've seen time and time again. Really took him out of rhythm early, really didn't let him get any open looks, no drive to the basket. And obviously with a team that's struggling to score, you take away their best player, you put yourself in a great position to win the game.
Yeah, you make a really good point, because where he was getting the ball and the way they were defending, it wasn't like there was an easy double kick out for him. So you couldn't do the swing. You couldn't really take the advantage as easy as you were because of the way they were playing it. They were fronting him and bracketing him to not even let him get it when he was in the lower post. So that was the strategy. Take the ball out of his hands, make others beat you. And if you have a team that doesn't shoot the ball well from 3, 34.6 tonight, you're willing to live with that poison rather than him going off for 30, which he had done in the last 2 games.
We've got reaction coming in downstairs as we speak. Naji Marshall, 23.8 assist game. Here's what he had to say.
What did you make of the tribute to Luka and all that?
It was beautiful. Luka means so much to the city and vice versa. Luka moved from his country to America, starting in Dallas. So I know it's a real feeling for him and just all love.
You've seen this a lot from him. How difficult is it when he gets it going like that? How difficult is it to slow him down?
I mean, you guys see it out there, man. He's one of a kind. And we all know what we're capable of. We've seen this story before. So shout out to Luka, man. I know that meant everything to him to just come back and do that. So shout out to him.
You felt like that was kind of deserved reaction from the crowd just in terms of showing that love?
I mean, I guess those are his fans, so, yeah.
I'm sure you had an idea coming in of what the atmosphere, the emotion was going to be like, but you got in and saw him maybe crying and the tribute. Like, what's going through your mind before?
I mean, I already knew it would be like that. Like I said, man, the city, Luka means so much to the city, and, you guys mean so much to him, so I just knew when he come back and just a generational player like that, I know people love to see. So I just knew it was going to be like this. I knew he was going to cry. So shout out to Luka again, man. He did his thing.
Why did you know he was going to cry?
Because I just know that's mad love out there. Anybody would cry, for real, for real.
Despite all that, he had 38, I believe, after 3 quarters. And you guys were in the lead early in the 4th quarter, and then LeBron took over. What did he do to turn the tables in that?
Just was LeBron, and that's what those 2 guys can do, take over games, whenever they feel like needed to be. And shout out to the Lakers, man. They did their job and got the win.
How much did the 20 turnovers hurt you guys tonight?
Most definitely. Got to take care of the ball. When we take care of the ball, we can get good shots or any shots we want, we feel like. So something that we definitely have to correct, but we be all right.
Naji, I know it's not the exact same scenario, but you're a player that means so much to the city of New Orleans. So seeing Luka mean so much to the city of Dallas. How do you describe what it means to mean a lot to a franchise?
Oh, well, hold on. It's levels, because New Orleans, they gave me a tribute at the timeout, and it was 10 seconds. Luka, I mean, I can only imagine, bro. Like you said, they love me in New Orleans, but the love they have for him out here, man, it looks surreal, like a dream come true. I think everybody was amazed tonight, for sure.
I know you try to block things up, but are you relieved, refreshed, happy that this night came and is now gone and you guys can look ahead?
I wouldn't say I'm anything. It's just another night, another game. We play Toronto next, so just looking forward to get a W, finish off strong, get a play-in, and make the playoffs.
What do you guys got to do to beat Toronto and clinch that last play-in?
Just play Dallas Mavericks basketball, share the ball, play defense, run in transition, and just be who we know we can be. Take care of the ball. Thank you, y'all. Y'all have a good one.
Yeah, man.
Naji took the words right out of my mouth. For real, that was great post-game reaction from him. We've got
shout
so
out to
much
you, Dana.
more. And to you. Everybody gets a shout out.
For real. Yeah.
We'll start using that.
Luka, how did you go from the emotions of the video and the fans, the reception and everything, to then, playing the way that you played?
Good question. I don't really know. Like I said, post-game interview, after that video, I was like, there's no way I'm playing this game, It was so many emotions, and, I just went out there and just played basketball.
When you checked out, or there was a timeout, I guess, before you checked out, you had 45 points, come to the bench. Some of the fans in the arena are chanting Luka, and your Laker teammates are jumping up and down and chanting it too. What was that moment like for you, and how do you think this was an eventful day for the Lakers as a team and you being a part of them?
Big time, because they all had my back. That's what we talked about before the game, and everybody had my back, from coaches to players. And, we're trying to build something special here, and that was really, really, really nice to see.
We talked about this last night a little bit. You said it was going to be an emotional night, but you weren't fully sure what to expect. I guess when you woke up this morning and got to the arena, more so even pregame, what were you feeling as you walked through this arena for the first time in a while, as you see these faces? What were you feeling in those specifically?
Well, it was a little bit of both, happy and angry, but it's nice to see some familiar faces here. I spent a lot of times with them, but like you say, it was a lot of emotions. When I woke up, I was tired. I didn't sleep much. I was excited about this game, and I really appreciate the fans, the way they reacted to me.
Everybody needed to get through this night. Luka got through it with flying colors. The Mavs fans did it well. They showered him with praise, and kudos to everybody.
A weight lifted on both sides, and now it's back to work.
Shout out to those Mavs fans.
Davis, that's right.
For real.
We'll see you on Friday, everybody. Thanks for watching.